I never thought the woman who birthed me would slip arsenic into my morning smoothie to ensure I'd never birth anyone else. But there she was, my own mother, Evelyn, smiling over brunch in our Hamptons estate like it was just another Tuesday, while the poison twisted my insides into knots that doctors later swore would scar me barren forever. And the kicker? She didn't stop at sabotage. She forged my signature on shell company docs to hijack the empire I'd clawed from nothing, all while whispering in board meetings that I was the unstable one, unraveling from grief over my phantom womb. That brunch was the last time I trusted her tears. The Hamptons' sun filtered through the French doors of our family estate, her estate. Really? Since Dad's yacht accident left her everything but the resentment. I'd flown in from Manhattan, fresh off closing a deal for Harper Tech that would have made Forbes cream their khakis. At 35, I'd built it from a garage startup into a cybersecurity juggernaut, fending off hackers for Wall Street fat cats who paid in seven figures. Evelyn had always played the proud mom card, cooing about my legacy over Rose. But her eyes? They lingered too long on my untouched wine glass, like she was tallying what I owed her for the stretch marks she claimed I gave her. We sat on the veranda, the Atlantic crashing below like it knew the storm brewing. She poured the smoothies herself, kale, ginger, and that suspicious tang I chalked up to her latest fad diet. To your future, darling, she toasted, clinking her glass to mine. I downed it, chasing the burn with small talk about quarterly projections. By dessert, my stomach rebelled, a vice grip that sent me heaving over the azaleas. Evelyn called the ambulance, all pro-clutching hysteria. But as the paramedics loaded me up, I caught her wiping her mouth with a linen napkin, slow and deliberate, like she'd savored the show. The ER docs at Southampton Hospital pumped my gut clean, but the damage lingered like a bad hangover that never quits. Heavy metal toxicity, the toxicologist said, charts in hand. Arsenic. Chronic exposure. Looks like. Could have been building for months. My blood ran colder than the foredrip. Months? I'd been crashing at the estate every other weekend, decompressing from the startup grind. Who the hell would've? Evelyn swept and then, Chanel no. 5 preceding her like a fog of denial. My poor baby, she wailed, collapsing into the visitor's chair with an Oscar-worthy sob. It must have been that new gardener, those pesticides he sprays. I'll fire him on the spot. The cops spotted hook, line, and sinker. Small-town badges don't grill blue blood widows over brunch mishaps. But I saw it in her eyes, the flicker, like a glitch in her Botox mask. She'd always hated how I poured everything into Harper Tech, how I dodged her setups with eligible heirs from old money families. You need roots, Harper, she'd sigh. Not these silicon dreams. Childless by choice. Payback. Famous last words. Discharged after a week of charcoal filters and psych evals because apparently surviving attempted filicide makes you the fragile one. I dove into the why. Private investigators aren't cheap. But neither is a board seat. My guy, ex-FBI with a Brooklyn accent thick as traffic, tailed her for a month. Turns out, Evelyn's grief over Dad's drowning wasn't so pure. He'd rewritten the will 6 months before the accident, leaving the bulk to me, not her precious foundation for preserving American heritage, but to fund my tech ventures. Dad saw her for what she was, a social climber who'd married him for the Rolodex, not the ring. The yacht? Sabotaged brakes. Per the hushed NTSB report my PI unearthed. She'd walked free because his blood alcohol was over the limit. Classic Evelyn. Flipping the script, so she was the victim. But the arsenic? That was personal. Buried in her emails, hacked. Sure. But who's counting was a thread to her wellness guru, a quack naturopath in Sedona peddling heavy metals for detox rituals. Except hers were targeted, slow-drip infertility for ungrateful daughters who prioritize pixels over progeny. She'd watched me climb, seething as Harpertech's valuation hit 9 figures, knowing I'd eclipse her faded glory. No grandkids to parade at galas?
Fine.
But letting me breed a dynasty that'd dwarf her?
Hell no.
So she dosed me, week by week, until my ovaries turned to scar tissue. The kicker, she'd framed it as my stress-induced amenorrhea to my gyno, planting doubts, so I doubt myself. I confronted her over dinner at Le Bernardin, Manhattan's fishbowl for the filthy rich. The sommelier had just decanted a 95 Bordeaux when I slid the lab reports across the linen. Her fork hovered midair, lobster tail dripping butter like tears she wouldn't shed. Harper. Sweetheart, she murmured, voice honey over gravel. This is paranoia. The accident your father's, it's eating you alive. Flip. Suddenly, I was the villain, projecting my daddy issues onto her sainted memory. But I pressed the will, the yacht schematics, the naturopath's Venmo trail straight to her Amex. Her smile cracked, just a hairline fracture. You think I'd hurt you? After carrying you for 9 months in this body. She gestured to her figure, still turning heads at 62. I did it for us. For the family name. You're wasting it on code and cubicles. Mary Trent, give me those grandchildren. Or watch it all slip away. Slip away? That's when the real theft began. While I recovered, bedridden and bitter, Evelyn stepped in at Harpertech. Board meetings she crashed with crocodile tears. My daughter's unwell. Let me hold the fort. She charmed the VCs. Those Harvard ghosts who melt for silver spoon sob stories. By the time I dragged myself back, she'd incorporated a holding company, Evelyn Enterprises, that mysteriously owned 51% of my stock. Forged proxies, backdated emails in my name. My CFO, that spineless prick from Yale, swore it was legit. You approved it during your episode. Like my womb wasn't a war zone courtesy of her. Rage doesn't build, it erupts. I lawyered up, but Evelyn's countersuit painted me as the basket case, erratic, infertile, unfit to lead. Tabloids ate it up, heiress feud, poison pills or power plays. And suddenly, my inbox flooded with pity porn from exes I'd ghosted for the grind. Sleepless nights blurred into strategy sessions in my Soho loft, walls papered with org charts and burner phones. Revenge wasn't a dish, it was a full-course meal, served cold with a side of chaos. First, I leaked the yacht report to a hungry reporter at the Post, anonymous. Of course. Widow's dark waters. Did Evelyn Harper drown her own fortune? Her stock in the family foundation tanked overnight, donors fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. But that was appetizer. The main course? I'd gut her from the inside, make her watch her empire crumble while I rebuilt mine stronger. I hired ethical hackers, irony, right, to mirror her digital footprint. Every Venmo, every gala selfie, every whispered deal with Saudi princes laundering cash through her charity. She flipped again, calling me at 3 a.m., voice cracking over the line. Harper.
Stop this.
We're blood. I only wanted to protect you from yourself.
Protect.
Like spiking my greens was tough love. I hung up, but not before whispering. Blood washes out.
Mom.
Especially when it's on your hands. Weeks turn to a fever dream of depositions and dark web drops. Harper Tech stabilized under my interim COO, a no-bullshit Latina from Queens who'd clawed her way up like me. We pivoted to AI-driven threat detection, landing contracts with the DoD that made VCs weep. Evelyn,
Meanwhile,
lawyered harder, her team digging into my past like grave robbers, that college DUI I'd expunged. The one-night stand with a competitor that birthed zero scandals but plenty of whispers. She even trotted out my infertility in court docs, emotional distress rendering MS. Harper unstable, turning my scar into her sword. The boardroom showdown was electric. Air thick as a summer squall. Top-floor conference room at Harper Tech's Midtown Tower. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Empire State like a middle finger to her old-world bullshit. Evelyn arrived in pearls and a sheath dress, flanked by her shark attorneys, all Brooks Brothers and billable hours. I sat at the head, alone but for my PI in the shadows, laptop humming with a kill shot. "Let's cut the theater," I said, voice steady as the Hudson below. "You poisoned me. Stole my company. Drowned Dad for a bigger slice. Sign over the shares, or the feds get the full dossier." Her laugh tinkled like shattering crystal.
oh,
Harper. Always the dramatist. Your father's death was tragedy, not treachery. And that poison, a mother's misguided attempt to encourage balance. Yoga retreats, not boardrooms. As for the business, she slid a folder across. Glossy mock-ups of Harper Legacy Group, her rebrand. It's evolving. With me at the helm, we'll honor your father's vision. Family first.
family.
The word curdled in my gut. She'd flipped again. From villain to visionary, positioning herself as the savior I'd spurned. The board murmured, those gray suits shifting like they smelled blood, not mine this time. My COO leaned in. Harper. The votes today. 51-49 her way, if we don't counter. Counter. That's when I hit play on the projector. Not just emails.
But audio.
Her voice, clipped from a gala rant, slurring to a donor. That yacht? One loose cable. And poof, problem solved. Now it's all mine. If the bitch doesn't breed and dilute it. Gasps rippled. Evelyn's face drained to chalk. But she rallied. Deep fake. She's unhinged, look at her. Childless and chasing ghosts. Unhinged. The word ignited something primal. I stood, palms flat on the glass table, staring her down. You made me this way, Evelyn. No kids. No mercy. Sign. Or I burn it all, your foundation, your friends, your facade. The room held its breath. A powder keg with no wick. She met my gaze. And for a split second, I saw the girl she'd been, small-town schemer who'd snagged Dad with a wink and a lie. Then the flip, tears. Real ones this time. I did it for you, Harper. To keep you safe from becoming me. Bitter. Alone. Clawing for scraps. Safe. The lie hung heavy. But as her pen hovered over the transfer docs, my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown. She's bluffing. Check the will annex. Heart slamming. I glanced at my PI. He nodded, pulling up the file. Dad hadn't just left me the seed money. He'd buried a clause, any tampering with heirs, biological or corporate, triggered a clawback to a trust for unconventional families. Unconventional. Like the surrogate he'd quietly funded for me years back, eggs frozen before her poison could touch them. Embryos waiting. Viable. A secret he'd kept despite her control. Twist of a knife, she knew. The naturopath emails mentioned, eliminate the backups. She'd poison not just me, but the future I'd never claimed. Rage crusted, but so did pity, a toxic brew. Sign, I whispered. She did, trembling, the shares flipping back like a bad bet. The board exhaled, voting me unanimous. Evelyn rose, regal in defeat, murmuring, "You'll regret this, darling. Family's all we have." As she exited, heels clicking like retreating thunder, I collapsed into my chair. Victory tasted like ash. I'd won the company, avenged Dad, maybe even paved the way for that family she'd feared. But the scar? It throbbed, a reminder that blood betrays deepest. And in the quiet, I wondered, was I the avenger? Or just her echo, scheming, flipping, forever chasing what she stole first? End of file 1. The elevator dinged her departure. But the echo lingered, her perfume a ghost in the vents. I should have felt triumphant, Harper Tech reclaimed, Evelyn's empire reduced to echoes in society pages. Instead, nausea rolled, not from arsenic remnants, but the hollow core of it all. My team toasted with LaCroix and leftover sushi. Toasts to the Queen's comeback.
Queen.
Felt more like a pawn who'd toppled the board, only to stare at checkered ruins. Sleep evaded that night. My loft a cage of exposed brick and unanswered voicemails from Trent, Evelyn's golden boy pick. A hedge fund bro with a jawline sharper than his ethics. He'd texted during the meeting, heard about the drama. Drinks? We could team up against her. Team up. As if I needed another viper in the nest. I ghosted him, scrolling instead through Dad's old letters. Yellowed missives from his sailing days. Build something unbreakable. Kiddo, one read. Not for them, for you. Unbreakable. I'd tried, layering firewalls around code and heart alike. Failed on both counts. Dawn cracked gray over the Hudson, and with it, the next move crystallized. Revenge isn't a sprint, it's a siege. Evelyn's foundation, Harper Heritage Trust. That tax-sheltered shrine to WASP supremacy was her last bastion. Funded by Dad's ill-gotten gains, or so she'd spin it now. It bankrolled galas where she'd preen as the grieving philanthropist. I'd leak more. The yacht insurance payout funneled through offshore shells. The donations that were really kickbacks from arms dealers cozying up to her board. But leaks alone? Too clean. I wanted her to feel the isolation. The slow bleed of allies peeling away. First call. My publicist. A shark in Louboutins named Riley who'd spun my health scare into a wellness warrior narrative. Pivot to empowerment. She purred over coffee at St. Ambrius. Article in Vanity Fair. From Poison to Power, How Harper Reclaimed Her Throne. Subtext. Mom's the villain. But you're the magnanimous one. Magnanimous. I nodded. But inside, the plan grew darker. While Riley shopped the piece, I'd court her donors, quiet lunches with the old guard, dropping hints about irregularities in the trust's audits. Let Evelyn watch her Rolodex empty, one monogrammed invitation at a time. By noon, the Vanity Fair pitch landed bites. By evening, my calendar overflowed with power lunches. Evelyn struck back swift, a blistering op-ed in the journal. A daughter's delusions, the cost of corporate ambition. She painted me as the prodigal. Barren by choice, twist that knife. unraveling Dad's legacy with reckless tech gambles. The comments sections lit up. America's favorite pastime, picking sides in a mommy dearest meltdown. Team Evelyn trended among the blue hairs, decrying my ingratitude. Harper Rising surged with millennial feminists, hailing my grit. Divided, just as I'd engineered. No heroes hear me. The vengeful spinster, her. The scheming matriarch. Perfect chaos. But the flips kept coming. Midway through a donor schmooze at the Polo Bar, my phone lit with her number. I stepped into the coat check, heart hammering. Harper, she breathed. No preamble. This has to stop.
Meet me.
Neutral ground. Your father's club. The Knickerbocker. That oak-paneled relic on 42nd where deals died and were reborn over scotch. Neutral? Her turf. Always. But curiosity, or masochism, won. Tomorrow. Noon. The club smelled of leather and regret. Portraits of robber barons glowering from the walls. Evelyn waited in a corner booth. Aged 10 years in 24 hours. Crow's feet deepening. Lipstick bleeding at the edges. She slid a scotch my way, neat.
Dad's poison.
Truce. I didn't touch it. Talk. Words tumbled then. A flood she damned too long. The small-town girl from Scranton, snagging a spot at Vassar on scholarship, only to drop out pregnant with me. Dad's family scorned her. The gold-digging help, she'd waitress summers at their Cape compound. I fought for you, Harper. Clawed respect from those snobs. And what did I get? Your indifference. Indifference. She'd twisted my independence into abandonment. The yacht? He was leaving me for her. That yacht bunny from Miami.
I panicked.
One email to the mechanic. And it was done. Confession. Casual as confiding a bad haircut. And me. My voice cracked. The scar tissue pulling taut. She averted her eyes, tracing the club's crest on her napkin. You are thriving. Too much. I saw you slipping away, like he did, chasing empires over us. The naturopath. It was supposed to be temporary. A wake-up call. Force you to slow down. Choose family. Temporary. Like infertility's a seasonal flu. Rage boiled, but laced with something sharper, recognition. Her flips weren't madness. They were mirrors. I'd flipped too, from dutiful daughter to digital warlord, sacrificing softness for servers. I can't undo it, she whispered. But the trust, it's yours. If you call off the dogs.
Dogs.
My leaks. My lunches. Tempting. That white flag. Sign it over. Wash hands of the blood. But as she pushed the docs across, irrevocable transfer, her signature already inked, I saw the annex, a codicil tying it to familial reconciliation, counseling, joint appearances, the whole hallmark hostage, or else reversion to her state. Flip. My turn. No. I tore it. Confetti fluttering like dead leaves. You don't buy absolution with assets. Her face crumpled. Genuine this time, no mask. Then what? Harper? Ruin me? Ruin us.
Us.
The word hung. A noose or a lifeline. I left her there. Scotch untouched. The barons watching.
Outside.
Rain slicked 42nd. Umbrellas blooming like black lotuses. Victory? Or just another scar? Harper Tech hummed on. Contracts pouring in. But the loft felt emptier. Echoes of what ifs. What if I'd signed? Let her win the optics, me the quiet billions. But revenge isn't quiet, it's the roar that drowns doubt. That night, Riley's article dropped, glossy spreads of me in power poses. Captions crooning resilience. Sales spiked 20%. Evelyn's donors? 3 defected by morning. Wires crossing to my pack for women in tech. Siege advancing. But in the mirror, my eyes, Dad's eyes, stared back. Weary. Was I avenging him? Or auditioning for her throne? The line blurred. And with it, the thrill soured to dread. Dread morphed to drive by week's end, a manic fuel that blurred days into deliverables. Harperteka's war room, once my garage, now a glass bunker on the 47th floor, pulsed with code compiles and caffeine IVs. My so, Maria, mapped the assault, target her supply lines. The trust's biggest donor? That oil baron from Houston. Rumor he's dodging EPA fines through her green initiatives.
Green.
Evelyn's latest flip, from yacht widow to eco-warrior. All astroturf and no atonement. We dug. Unearthing shell core, linking her foundation to fracking ops that poisoned aquifers worse than her smoothies. The hit landed Friday. Timed for primetime news. A whistleblower doc, me. Laundered through a proxy, dropped to ProPublica, philanthropy or pollution. Inside the Harper Heritage shell game. By Saturday, CNN looped it. Pundits pillorying her as the greenwashing granny. Evelyn's response? A tear-streaked presser from the Trust's Brownstone HQ. Slander from a estranged child. Grasping at straws. Estranged. Like I'd ghosted Thanksgiving. Not survived her slow-kill cocktail. Social media split wider. Boomers defending her legacy. Gen Z torching it with memes of her in a witch hat. Stirring cauldrons labeled Mommy Dearest. I watched from a dive bar in the village. Nursing a seltzer among tattooed poets who eyed my Lululemon like an alien artifact. Anonymity tasted sweet, no boardroom bullshit. Just the jukebox crooning Springsteen anthems about busted dreams. A guy sidled up. Barfly charm masking venture capitalist vibes. You're that Harper chick. Right? Ballsy move. Buy you around. I demurred. But his card burned in my pocket later, scout from Sequoia. Sniffing blood in the water. Allies multiplying. Evelyn's shrinking. Sunday brunch brought the counterpunch. Trent, of all people, cornered me at my gym's juice bar, Equinox, where influencers flex for the gram. Evelyn's desperate, he said, pecs straining his tank. Sent me to broker peace. Marry me, Harper. We merge empires, your tech, her trust. Grandkids optional. Grandkids. The word twisted like arsenic in my veins. He was her puppet, dangling the ring like a noose. Tell her no, I shot back. Blender whirring cover for my exit. But his eyes lingered, pity or calculation. Flips everywhere, even in the mirrors. Monday's board call crackled with fallout. Maria, shares up 15%. But whispers, Evelyn's shopping a buyout. Lowball. But with her donor scraps, she could swing it. Buyout.
Over my dead body.
I greenlit phase 2, the personal purge. PI tailed her to a shrink on Park Avenue. Irony. The woman who'd weaponized therapy, now seeking it. We didn't hack sessions, but the doorman's loose lip spilled. Meds for anxiety. Bad dreams about water. Water.
Dad's grave.
Schadenfreude soured quick. Was this justice or just jockeying for moral high ground? The real gut punch came midweek. A manila envelope slid under my loft door. No return. Just my name in Evelyn's looping script. Inside, photos. Not the posed family albums, but Candid's me at 5, gap-toothed grin on Dad's sailboat. At 16, prom-dressed and awkward, her arm around my waist. At 25, graduation cap askew, her beaming beside. Tucked in a letter, pages trembling with her hand. Harper, I was wrong. The poison, the plots, they were fear, not hate. Fear you'd leave me like he did, alone in this gilded cage. The trust was my anchor, you were my chain. Forgive?
No.
Understand?
Please.
Enclosed, the embryos. Yours, from before. Call the clinic. Build what I couldn't. Embryos. The backups she tried to torch. Clinic cords. Access codes. Her white flag. Bloodied but billowing. I crumpled it. Tears hot as solder. Understand? She flipped again. From foe to frail. Offering the one thing she'd stolen. Legacy. The loft spun. Brick walls closing like a vice. Call or crush. Maria found me at dawn, cross-legged amid the confetti pages. Boss, we got a lead. Evelyn's meeting a Fed tomorrow. Immunity deal? Immunity. For Dad.
For me.
The siege peaked, her walls cracking. I tailed her myself. Uber Black to the U.S. Attorney's office on Foley Square. Rain lashed the federal building. Umbrellas a sea of anonymity. She emerged 2 hours later. Face ashen. No entourage, just a cab idling curbside. Impulse overrode sense. I stepped from shadows. Deal done. She startled, then sagged against the wet stone. Full confession. Yacht. Everything. 10 years. Maybe less with good behavior. You win.
Win.
Her eyes, once steel, swam soft. The letter, did you read? I nodded. Throat tight. Why now? Flip final. Because blood's thicker than boardrooms. And I'm tired, Harper, of fighting my reflection in you. Reflection. The word landed like a depth charge. She wasn't the villain. She was the warning, what ambition unchecked devours. We stood there, rain mingling tears, as sirens wailed distant. No embrace. No absolution, just a nod. The clinic, I said. I'll go. Her smile ghosted. Gone with the cab's taillights. Victory? Pyrrhic. Laced with loss. Harper Tech soared. Embryos thawed to hope. But in quiet, her echo whispered, who avenged whom? Hope thawed slow, like permafrost under Manhattan's relentless grind. The clinic visit was clinical, white coats, clipboards, consent forms thicker than my pitch decks. Viable, the doc said, ultrasound wand probing potentials I'd never met. With a surrogate, high success rate, success. Word tasted foreign, laced with Evelyn's phantom arsenic. I signed anyway, a down payment on tomorrow, but the loft echoed emptier. Her letters fragments swept, but not forgotten. Harper Tech, meanwhile, hit escape velocity. DoD contracts ballooned to 8 figures. Maria at the helm like a pirate queen raiding data seas. We're unbreakable now, she crowed over victory tacos in the war room. Unbreakable. Dad's ghost nodded from the ether. But Evelyn's shadow loomed. Arraignment loomed Friday. Splashed across TMZ. Socialite mom to face manslaughter rap in hubby's boding death. Comments carnage. Karma's a bitch. Versus she's a monster. Lock her up. Divided nation. Mirror to my marrow. I skipped the hearing. Hold up with blueprints for a new wing. Harper Family Lab. Seed funded for fertility tech. Irony? Poetic payback. Cybersecurity for the womb. Firewalls against fate's foul plays. Riley spun it gold. From personal poisoning to pioneering parenthood. Features in Wired.
TEDx invites.
Allies flocked. Trent. Sheepish at a networking mixer. Congrats on the pivot. Evelyn. She's asking about you. Asking. I brushed him off. But the hook snagged. Curiosity. Or closure. The visit happened on a whim. Or so I told myself. Rikers Island. That concrete leviathan off the Bruckner. Swallowed visitors whole. Processing stripped me bare, shoes off.
Pat-downs.
The dehumanizing dance. Evelyn waited in a plexiglass booth. Orange jumpsuit clashing with her silver chignon. No makeup. No mask, just hollows under eyes that once commanded rooms. You came, she said, receiver heavy in her grip. Clinics booked, I replied. Voice flat. Surrogate in 6 months. Her nod was small.
Genuine. Good. Hill. She'll.
Have your fire.
Fire.
The word warmed. Thawed something ice since brunch. We talked then, not plots or proxies, but fragments, her Scranton winters, scraping frost from windows, Dad's first proposal, bungled on a beach with costume jewelry. I loved him, she admitted. But power? It loves no one. Confessions flip, from schemer to survivor. Her sin's a syllabus for my caution. Why the embryos? I pressed, the scar itching. She leaned close, glass fogging breath. To give you what I took.
And.
Because I'm dying. Harper. Cancer. Stage 4. Diagnosed prearrangement.
Dying.
The word detonated. Shrapnel of shock. Irony, she laughed. Bitter. What I dealt you. Fate returns. No treatment, too late. And, why bother? This place is purgatory enough. Cancer. Her flip to fragility. Final and fatal. Pity surged. Warring with wrath. Avenger or orphan. Lines dissolved. I sold the Hamptons place, she continued. Proceeds to you clean. No strings.
Use it for the lab.
Or burn it. Your call.
Clean.
After years of tainted trusts, the gesture gleamed. We sat silent then. The booth, a confessional. Forgive, she whispered.
No.
But understanding? That bridge. Rickety. Held. Right to the kid, I said. If it sticks. Her eyes lit. A spark in the gloom. Every letter. Stories, the good ones. Leaving Rikers. The skyline mocked, towers of glass and greed. My kingdom. But the crown weighed heavier, laced with her legacy's lead. Maria met me at the loft. Takeout tie steaming. How is family therapy? I shrugged, unpacking the news. Her brow furrowed. Biologically, yeah. But blood? It's what you make.
Make.
The embryos. The empire, clay in calloused hands. Weeks blurred. Lab groundbreaking in Brooklyn. Soil turned under a sky bruised purple. Donors toasted. Former Evelyn allies. Now mine. Toasting new chapters. Trent cornered me post-ceremony. Ring box in pocket. Timing's right. For the kid,
For you.
For. Always the qualifier. I declined. Soft. I'm building solo. Solo. The words settled. Sturdy. Evelyn's letters arrived bi-weekly. Smudged stamps from hell's post office. Tales of her youth, shoplifting lipstick to feel bold. First job waitressing with dreams bigger than tips. No apologies. Just anecdotes, seeds for the soil I'd till. The surrogate. Lena, a teacher from the Bronx with laugh lines like roadmaps, bonded over Zoom. Her optimism a bomb. This baby's lucky, she said. Tech mom with a warrior heart. But the twist uncoiled slow. Insidious. Midway through trimester 1. A lab tech flagged anomalies, embryos' DNA. Mismatched markers. Not yours, the geneticist confirmed. Charts cold. Chimeras. 2 donors, yours and another. Another. Rage reignited, but laced with dread. PI dug, clinic breach. Years back. Evelyn's naturopath quack, moonlighting as a fertility consultant, had swapped samples. Not destroyed, subverted. Dad's backup wasn't pure, it was polluted. Her insurance against my independence. A half-sibling seed, planted to bind. Confrontation via mail. Her cell. My fury scripted. You tainted them. Again. Reply came swift. Shaky pen. Not sabotage, salvation. Your father's affair. Preemie. The Miami girl? She bore a son.
Hidden.
I found him.
Preserve the line.
Blood. Harper, ours. Undivided. Undivided. Her final flip, from thief to tether, weaving a web of half-truths into whole cloth. The boy, now 20. A barista in Brooklyn. Clueless, sudden kin. Evelyn's ghost gift. Debate raged internal. Abort? Or embrace the mosaic? Lena chose with me. Families aren't factories. We adapt.
Adapt.
American as apple pie and reinvention. The baby came kicking. A girl with dad's eyes and stranger's curls. Evelyn's last letter arrived posthumous. Cancer claiming quick. Name her Eve for beginnings. I was the end. You? Infinite. Infinite. Harper Tech crested billions. Lab birthing breakthroughs. But, at night, Eve's crib-side. I pondered, villain or visionary. Her scheme scarred. But stitched us tighter, me. The daughter. Her. The dam. Eve. The delta. No heroes. Just humans. Flipping through fog. Revenge? It rebuilt. Brick by bloodied brick. Bricks stacked high. But the foundation quaked subtle. Aftershocks of Evelyn's echo. Eve at 2. Toddling through the lab's playpen, surrounded by coders and hoodies. Her babble sinking to algorithms like lullabies. Harper Tech's campus sprawled now. A Silicon Alley outpost in Red Hook, solar panels glinting like promises. Walls whispering, innovate or perish. I'd inked the motto postpartum. High on oxytocin and spite. Perish. Like Evelyn. Withered in a state hospice. Her obit a footnote in the Times. Philanthropist Evelyn Harper, 64. Dies amid legal clouds. Legal clouds parted slow. The feds plea bargained her down. Manslaughter for dad. Attempted harm for me. Time served in palliative care. No trial spectacle. Just sealed files and my subpoena dodged. Mercy, the DA called it. I called it moot. Eve's curls, that stranger's legacy, curled tighter around my finger as I rocked her, wondering if Mercy's just deferred revenge. Trent resurfaced at the 3-year mark. Gala seasons vulture circling the Harper family fun launch. Black tie affair at the Met. Donors and tuxes mingling with Maria's startup squad. Diverse as a Benetton ad. Worlds from Evelyn's wasp wet dream. He cornered me by the temple of Dender. Champagne flute dangling like temptation.
She's gone.
Harper. Time to consolidate. Marian, my fun's yours. No strings. No strings. Bullshit. His eyes flicked to Eve. Corralled by Lena, now godmother. Full circle. Calculating net worth over sippy cups. Consolidate, I echoed. Voice silk over steel. Like Evelyn did? He flinched, but rallied. That was her. I'm different, partner. Not poacher.
Partner.
The word dangled. Divisive. Eve's laughter pealed from across the hall. Pure as unpoisoned air. Different? Or echo? I excused, gliding to the podium for toasts. To families forged, not faked, I said.
Glass raised.
Crowd roared. Trent slunk to shadows. Post-gala haze lifted Monday with a bombshell. Anonymous tip to the SEC. Harpertech's early funding. Laced with Evelyn's offshore shells. Audit flags. Frozen assets. Internal job. Maria growled over war room warpath. Someone with access. Access. My mind flashed to Trent's card. His team-up whispers. Flip. Ally to adversary. Hedging bets on my widowhood. PI confirmed. His fund shorting our stock. Betting on scandals sink. Rage redux. But refined, no blunt leaks. This time a scalpel strike. I called a presser. Raw. Harpertech was built on betrayal. Today, we audit every dollar. Transparent as code. Shares dipped. Then rebounded. Trust as currency in tech's fickle faith. Trent's play? Exposed via my hackers. Emails plotting the tip. His signature digital scarlet. Countersuit flew. Fraud. Defamation. He settled quick. Fund hemorrhaging. Slinking to Dubai with tail tucked. But the real reckoning brewed domestic. Eve at 4. Questions sprouting like weeds. Why no grandma? Mama? Lena fielded soft. She was on a long trip. Truth? I'd shielded her from the saga. Fairy-tailing the poison as sour milk, the theft as lost toys. But kids send scars. Bedtime stories veered to Once Upon a Schemer, my subconscious scripting revenge rhymes. The boy, Evelyn's gift, my half-brother, emerged then, a plot twist uncoiling. Clinic records, unsealed in her estate probate, flagged him, Alex. Barista by day, graphic novelist by night, crashing in Bushwick with ink-stained fingers. 23. Adrift post-art school, clueless to our knot. I found him via Instagram, sketches of fractured families, capes over cracks. Outreach? Anonymous coffee at his haunt. Watching him steam lattes with dad's jawline. My intensity in his gaze. Harper, he said later. Over cold brew in McCarran Park. I'd revealed gentle. Evelyn's letter. She mentioned you. His laugh barked. Bitter. The old bat? Met her once. Post-divorce from mom. Wired cash for art supplies, then ghosted. Figured I was her charity case.
Charity.
Her flip eternal. From destroyer to donor. Puppeteering from grave.
She's my mother, I said.
Was. Words tumbled yacht. Arsenic. Embryos. His eyes widened, then narrowed. And I'm. What? The spare air.
Spare.
The word wounded. But truth's blade cuts clean. Family, I countered. If you want, he pondered, sketching absent on a napkin, a woman with chalice, daughter with sword. Maybe. But no boardrooms, I'm no suit.
No.
Just stories, shared over falafel trucks and figure draws. Alex integrated slow, uncle to Eve, collaborator on the lab's edutainment app, Cybertales for Tots. Firewalls as fables. Climax crested unexpected. A decade distilled to a diner booth. Eve at 10. Alex 27. Me 45. Harpertech a behemoth. Valued at tens of billions. Lab birthing IVF AIs that rewrote reproduction. Trent's ghost? Bankrupt. Faded tabloid fodder. But Evelyn Spector? Resurfaced in a box from her estate attorney. Artifacts. Dad's yacht log. Her naturopath files empty. Tested clean post-mortem. And a video. Grainy's VHS digitized. We watched in the loft. Eve cross-legged on cushions. Alex nursing a beer. Evelyn on screen. Pre-prison. Facing camera in the Hampton study. If you're seeing this, Harper, I'm gone. The schemes. They were shields. Against loss.
Dad's. Yours.
The poison? Desperation to keep you close. Childless, so unburdened. The business? To prove I could.
2.
But you broke the cycle. Cycle. Her voice cracked. The boy? Alex, tell him sorry. For using him as leverage.
And you.
Forgive? Not for me.
For you.
Fade to static. Her eyes, our eyes, pleading. Eve tilted head. She looks sad.
Mama.
Like the witch who turns good. Good. Alex snorted. Or just human. Flawed as fuck.
Flawed.
The word hung. Heavy. Debate ignited. Eve's innocence versus Alex's cynicism. My middle ground mind with memory. No right. No wrong, just raw. Ripping us open. She tried to kill you, he said. But gave me life. Gave me Eve, I added. Through hell. Eve. Families fix things. Right?
Right.
The twist? No villain vanquished. Just voids filled sideways. We burned the vials in a fire pit at Maria's upstate cabin. Ashes to Atlantic winds. Release ritual. American as catharsis. Harpertech pivoted to legacy AI. Chatbots channeling lost loves. Evelyn's voice synthesized for Eve's queries. Grandma. Tell a story. Soft flips.
Digital détente.
Ending? No tidy bow. Eve thrives. Coder prodigy with artist soul. Alex publishes. Our fractured fresco framed.
Me?
CEO, eternal. Scars silvered to wisdom. Happy? In fragments. Tragic? Only if unbroken. Evelyn's ghost grins. We all schemed. Flipped.
Survived.
Blood's not curse, it's code. Recompiling constant. Infinite. Indeed.